Okay, so today we're talking about the dark web. It's this hidden part of the internet, right?
Right. You can only get there with special software, usually Tor.
And it's known for having some potentially really disturbing, often illegal content.
Absolutely. And anyone even thinking about poking around needs to get the risks. Seriously.
Yeah, you could end up in legal trouble big time. Plus, there are real dangers to your personal safety.
Definitely. So precautions like a solid VPN are like the bare minimum. But even that isn't foolproof.
No, exactly. That Tor network, it bounces your traffic around, encrypts it, makes it hard to trace.
Multiple layers, and the VPN adds another layer, masking your starting point, your IP address.
But like you said, not foolproof. It offers some anonymity, but it's complex.
Crucial to understand that.
So look, we're not actually going there ourselves for this deep dive.
No, definitely not.
Instead, we found some pretty unsettling first-hand accounts shared online, specifically from a YouTube video.
Yeah, 5 disturbing dark web stories. Darkness prevails.
Yeah.
That's the source.
And just to be super clear here.
Right. We are absolutely not encouraging anyone to try this stuff.
No way. The goal is to understand the kinds of experiences people say they've had.
Exactly. We're looking at these reported stories to maybe get a glimpse into this, hidden corner of the internet that gets talked about a lot, but most people never see directly.
And it's worth maybe quickly distinguishing deep web versus dark web.
Good point. Deep web is just anything search engines don't index. Think your online banking, private databases, stuff like that. It's huge, actually.
Right. Mostly boring, necessary stuff.
Yeah. The dark web is a much smaller part, needing specific software like Tor.
Yeah.
And that's where the anonymity really fosters the more illicit and extreme stuff.
Okay, got it. So let's get into the first story. This one is from someone using the name 10 letters, says he's 17, from South Germany.
Okay.
He and a friend, Jack, got curious after hearing about the dark web. And their first thought.
Let me guess. Finding illegal things.
Yep. Weed, guns, that kind of thing. The usual assumptions, I guess.
Which really shows that common misconception, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That it's just a black market.
It does. So they download Tor, get a free VPN, which the story mentions wasn't great.
Probably not. Free VPNs can be sketchy. Logging data, maybe?
Could be. They used a search engine they found called Ice Rocket, started looking around,
Okay.
found the drug and weapon marketplaces as expected, but then things went sideways.
How so?
They clicked on a blank website, just blank, and then pop-ups started appearing.
The pop-ups. Never a good sign.
Not on the dark web, no. One link was titled Child Experiments.
Oh, wow. Okay. Red flag doesn't even cover it.
Seriously. The user, 10 letters, hesitated, but his friend Jack apparently had some morbid curiosity.
Oh.
Jack clicked it, and they saw pictures, really disturbing pictures of mutilated children.
Oh, that's horrific.
Yeah.
Just unimaginable.
The user is completely disgusted, wanted out immediately, but Jack was kind of stuck looking.
That reaction itself is worrying.
Yeah,
Almost desensitized or drawn in.
hard to say. Then they found videos, one titled Burning Child. Yeah, the description is graphic. A child held down, set on fire, and the user emphasizes the screams sounded incredibly, terrifyingly real. Primal, he called them.
God, the psychological impact of witnessing something like that, even alleged footage, it's hard to fathom.
And it didn't stop there. Suddenly, a chat box pops up.
From who?
A user named Fire435. The message was just, "Hello there, you enjoying this?"
Chilling. Just absolutely chilling.
Before they could even process that, another window, a live stream
Of what?
of them, their own webcam feed.
Oh no, that is terrifying. Instant violation of privacy, right?
Total exposure. And then messages started appearing in the chat.
What kind of messages?
Their real information. The user's street address, his name, his age.
Whoa.
Okay.
How could they get that so fast?
That's the scary part, isn't it? It proved this wasn't some automated thing. It was real, targeted, and dangerous.
Someone was actively watching and it compromised their system somehow.
Seems like it. Jack panicked, yanked the power cord from the computer.
Good reaction, just kill it.
But then, almost immediately, Jack's phone gets a text. Unknown number.
And it said,
"I'm gonna find you."
wow. Okay, so the threat jumped from online to potentially real life instantly.
Yeah, they were terrified, obviously. But they didn't go to the police? Or their parents?
Why not? Oh, wait. because of what they'd been looking at.
Exactly. They were scared of getting in trouble for viewing that illegal, horrific content.
That's a terrible position to be in. Tracked by fear on both sides.
So months go by. They probably hoped it was over. Then a package arrives. No return address.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
Inside, Polaroid pictures.
Oof.
Human body parts, a heart, a torso,
Yeah.
and a child's face, eyes rolled back.
Oh my God, that's beyond intimidation. That's psychological torture.
His parents found the box, called the police, but the user, still terrified, never told them the whole story about the dark web stuff.
Can you blame him? After the text, the webcam, now this.
No. He ends the story just reflecting on the sheer evil out there and basically saying, stay away from the deep web, don't go looking.
A really harrowing account. It paints a picture of, extreme danger and consequences spilling offline.
Okay, let's shift gears. Story number 2. This one's submitted by someone named Christopher Maxim. Says he's 14.
14, wow, okay.
He calls himself tech savvy, but with a, quote, morbid hobby.
Which is?
Exploring the deep web for unusual websites. He apparently even catalogs them.
Catalogs them? Like what?
He lists examples: 9/11 conspiracy sites, white supremacists dating horrible stuff, serial killer belongings for sale, cult worship, even violent Hitler fan fiction.
Okay, so already kind of a walk on the weird and dark side. It really shows the range of fringe stuff you can find there.
Definitely. So one day he finds this site. Looks simple, he says, like a Tumblr page called Parent Snatcher.
Parent Snatcher? What on earth?
The site just had lists of pronouns like her, him, and numbers. These linked to eBay listings.
eBay. Regular eBay.
Yeah. Listings for totally normal stuff like household furniture, but the prices were massively inflated, thousands of dollars.
Weird. What's the connection?
Christopher found hidden number sequences in the site's background code. He decrypted them.
Yeah, what do they say?
It was a message, something like, welcome to Parent Snatcher. Need a new mom or dad? It talked about mother units and father units, ages included.
Units, that's dehumanizing.
Totally. It went on. Once payment is received, we will send you your new parent, lifetime guarantee, tracking chip, and video surveillance. Impossible to escape. All very sinister.
Wow. That's incredibly creepy. Offering people, basically. Your tracking chip.
Sounds like it. Now, here's the personal angle. Christopher mentions his own father wasn't around. He'd always wanted one.
Ah, so this bizarre, creepy site maybe?
Yeah.
Appealed to something in him, a vulnerability.
Seems like it. He tried searching for Parent Snatcher everywhere, deep web, surface web, found nothing.
So no reputation, no warnings, just this weird, isolated site.
Right. And then, impulsively, he used his mom's credit card.
Oh no. To do what?
To buy the cheapest dad listing. It was linked to an eBay auction for a ceiling fan. Price? Around $3,000.
$3,000 for a ceiling fan. Linked to a site promising a tracked human being. What was he thinking?
He admits in the story he had fleeting thoughts about the danger, the consequences, but he did it anyway.
That really speaks to how strong that emotional pull, that vulnerability must have been to override his tech savviness and common sense.
Yeah. So weeks go by. His mom is arguing with the credit card company about this huge, weird charge. Never suspects him.
Okay, so what happened? Did a ceiling fan arrive?
No. One night, a man breaks into their house, dressed all in black, ski mask.
Seriously? Broke in?
Yeah. Confronts Christopher, asks him directly, did you place an order with Parent Snatcher?
Whoa. So it was real, in a terrifying way.
And then the guy tries to grab him, to abduct
Oh
him.
my God, so the site wasn't selling parents, it was, what?
Luring kids.
That's what Christopher concluded. There was a struggle. Christopher actually bit the guy's hand.
Good for him. Fight back.
Managed to get away. His mom heard the commotion, came running, and actually attacked the intruder.
Wow, go mom. The guy eventually fled. They called the police, told them everything.
Did they catch him? Take down the site?
The site got taken down, yes, but the perpetrators never caught.
That's awful. But thank God Christopher and his mom were okay.
He ends by saying how grateful he is he wasn't captured and vows never to go near the deep web again.
Another really stark warning then. What looks like a weird, maybe even funny online thing, masking something truly dangerous and predatory.
Okay, story 3. This comes from Kevin L., a 20-year-old in Quebec. And this one focuses more on disturbing adult content.
Right. Another facet of the dark web, unfortunately.
Kevin got curious, like many do, saw posts on Reddit about the dark web, researched how to access it safely, or so he thought.
Tried to be cautious then.
Yeah, he started exploring deep web wikis, clicking links. Initially, he says he was looking for just weird, creepy stuff, not anything severely disturbing.
But it's a slippery slope, isn't it? Easy to stumble onto worse things.
Seems so. He found a working adult site, but it had links to other hidden sites with really extreme content. BDSM, violence.
Stuff that goes way beyond consensual boundaries, presumably.
He says those initial links were disturbing enough, but then he specifically clicked on links labeled messed up content.
Okay, so a conscious choice to go deeper into the disturbing side.
Yeah. And he landed on a site run by someone claiming to be a sex doll maker.
Okay, that exists. Realistic dolls are a thing.
Right. At first, he saw dolls that looked very realistic, but maybe not outright creepy. But then
Wait.
he found pictures of 2 specific dolls labeled as ultra-realistic based on the creator's own nieces.
His nieces. How old?
8 and 12 years old. And the site showed these dolls alongside actual school photos of the little girls.
Oh, that is absolutely vile. That crosses so many lines. Even if they are just dolls, the implication, the source material.
Kevin was completely disgusted. He said they looked like exact replicas. The only thing that convinced him they were dolls was seeing other pictures showing the metal skeletons used inside them.
That level of detail is deeply unsettling.
Oh!
The mindset behind creating something like that.
He immediately closed Tor, erased everything, deleted all traces of his activity, just totally shocked.
I can imagine. That's not just disturbing, it feels deeply wrong on a fundamental level. Exploitative, even in replica form.
He ends by just expressing shock that such things exist and warning people, basically, if you value your innocence, stay away.
It really highlights how the dark web can expose you to not just illegal acts, but profoundly disturbing mindsets and intentions. Things you can't unsee.
Okay, 4th story, The Knocking Man. This is from Josh, 15 years old. He describes himself as physically imposing, someone who doesn't scare easily.
Okay, setting the stage. So what happened to Josh?
He was browsing the dark web, came across some strange videos, described one. It showed a dark room, just a single candle burning, and a man dressed in black, face painted black too.
Creepy visuals.
Only the man's eyes were visible wide, white eyes staring out. The man apparently whispered something in the video,
Yeah, and then
suddenly runs right at the camera, letting out this, quote, evil laugh.
jump scare territory, but online.
But then things got weirder. His laptop froze. Then it just shut off completely.
Hardware issue or something else?
It then restarted on its own, but the screen was just black, with white text saying, "You have been chosen."
Okay, that's definitely not normal. Sounds like malware or some kind of hack.
Could be. He couldn't change the background image after that. It was stuck. So he freaked out, took the battery out of the laptop, and just stopped using it altogether.
Wise move. But was that the end of it?
No, that's when the really unsettling part began. For months afterwards, every single night, he started hearing knocking.
Knocking. Where?
Faintly, but deliberately, at his bedroom window.
Every night. Did he see anyone?
Never. He's like, there was nothing there, just darkness outside.
That would drive anyone crazy, the persistence of it.
It really messed him up. He got paranoid, his grades started failing, he was arguing with his parents, sleep deprivation, fear.
Understandable. Was there any logical explanation? Like tree branches?
He says no. The window was high up, no easy access like a ledge or tree nearby. And he lived in a pretty remote area, not many streetlights. It seemed impossible for someone to be there without being seen.
So this goes on for 6 months.
6 months of nightly knocking. Finally, he decides to try and catch whatever it is. He sets up a hidden digital camera outside, pointing at the window.
Okay, smart. Trying to get proof.
The first night, the camera is up. No knocking.
Huh. Weird coincidence. Or no?
Who knows? The next day, he goes to check the camera footage, but before he does, he opens his curtains to look out the window one more time.
Man.
He sees nothing but darkness at first. Then, just for a split second, he catches a glimpse of 2 white eyes staring right back at him from the dark.
Whoa. Just like the video.
Exactly like the figure in the video. He completely freaked out, obviously. Looked again, nothing there. Checked the camera footage later, nothing unusual on it.
So just that fleeting glimpse. Real. Imagined. Hallucination from stress and fear.
He doesn't know. The story ends there, with him just terrified, regretting ever going on the dark web, and left wondering what on earth he saw.
That one really blurs the lines, doesn't it? Online horror seemingly manifesting or maybe psychological impact, creating phantom experiences.
Yeah.
Either way, deeply unsettling.
Yeah, the ambiguity makes it almost creepier. Okay, last one. Story 5. The Missing Kid. Submitted by someone called Juvenile.
It sounds ominous.
This one is about a classmate who disappeared after talking about the dark web. The user says back in high school there was this trend, this fascination among kids about the deep web.
I remember hearing about phases like that. Curiosity gets the better of teenagers.
Right. But this user, Juvenile, decided to steer clear, worried about their future, legal trouble, that kind of thing. Smart kid.
Good instincts.
But they had this interaction with a classmate, a quiet kid named Skylar. Skylar came up to them one day, really excited.
About what?
He said he'd found this cult on the dark web called the Alchemy of Osiris.
A cult. Okay. What were they claiming?
According to Skylar, they knew the secret to eternal life. And he claimed they had a local group, actual members nearby.
Eternal life and a local chapter. That sounds like a recruitment pitch for something sketchy.
Skylar apparently said the cost isn't too deep, whatever that means, and he was determined to prove it was all legitimate.
Oh boy. That sounds like someone getting drawn in deep.
The user, Juvenile, tried to warn him, said, you can't trust stuff like that online. It's probably a scam or worse.
Good advice. Did Skylar listen?
That was the last conversation they ever had with him.
That.
Skylar didn't come back to school the next day, or the day after. He never came back for the rest of the school year. Just gone.
Disappeared, just like that. What did the school say? The police.
The user says the teachers never commented on it. Skylar just sort of became this local legend, a ghost story at the school.
That's chilling. A kid just vanishes after talking about joining a dark web cult.
Yeah. Juvenile ends the story saying they feel like they know too much just from that one conversation. And they're scared Skylar is dead.
Wow. That one hits differently. Less overt horror, more real-world tragedy, potentially. The implication is just terrible.
It really is. The user includes this final thought about human nature, how evil exists, slavery, trafficking, cannibalism, torture fetishes, and wonders if exploring these dark places means you either confront your own capacity for evil or you just end up being found by evil people.
That's a heavy thought, and maybe captures the essence of these stories, doesn't it? The potential for darkness, whether internal or external, that these corners of the web seem to attract or reveal.
So yeah, those are the 5 accounts, a really disturbing collection giving us this glimpse, supposedly, into what people claim to find down there.
And what's striking is that sense of being watched or targeted that keeps popping up, isn't it? The webcam feed, the text message, the knocking, the feeling the cult found Skylar.
It really speaks to the psychological environment, maybe. That loss of anonymity isn't just theoretical, it feels like a constant threat.
Right. And across the board, these reported experiences are just negative, often dangerously so, potentially life-altering.
Yeah, there's no story here about harmless fun or positive discovery. It's all illegal stuff, deeply disturbing content, serious risks to safety, privacy.
From online harassment escalating to, well, packages of body parts, attempted kidnappings, maybe even recruitment into dangerous groups.
So thinking about all this, these accounts, whether perfectly factual or maybe embellished over time, they do paint a consistent picture.
They really do. And it leads to a final question, maybe for you listening.
Given these kinds of stories, these alleged encounters, what does this suggest about the hidden parts of online human behavior?
And maybe more importantly, what does it tell us about just how crucial digital safety, critical thinking, and maybe a healthy dose of caution are when we navigate the huge, complex, and sometimes very, very dark landscape of the internet?